What up, it's Prime Pete, and in this series I want to keep you updated about the tricks and strategies that more and more companies are using to addict players and keep players playing for longer at a time and more in general. Modern gaming has evolved into an enormous psychological trap that is tailored to get and keep players addicted, and it has become a billion-dollar industry doing just that. Don't get me wrong, games are really fun, and you best believe that these companies know that, but I make these videos to expose the behind-the-scenes methods that companies use in order to silently manipulate you into playing more so that you can be more aware of these tricks and consciously make your decisions about playtime and money spending. It's simply in the player's best interest, and someone had to do it eventually. And that someone is me. Today, I'm going to cover a sneaky thing called battle passes. Now, I know most of you are fully aware of what a battle pass is. I mean, everything has one nowadays. But for those of you who are unaware, a battle pass, or season pass in some cases, is essentially a system that includes a number of unlockable in-game cosmetics or items, usually it's 100 items or 100 tiers, that can be acquired over time, usually a month or 2 month long period, by playing the game, completing objectives, and leveling up. Typically, each level you gain is one tier or one cosmetic item in the pass. When you hit the maximum level in the Battle Pass, you typically acquire the most standout or coolest cosmetic that Season Pass has to offer. And the thing is, ever since Epic Games introduced the first ever Battle Pass into Fortnite Season 2, virtually every free-to-play shooter, and even paid shooters, or games of other genres, have adopted this system. Call of Duty, League of Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, even Overwatch has adopted the Battle Pass. And they're not wasting their time or their energy doing it either. It undoubtedly increases sales and playtime for their players. Epic Games struck a gold mine. And me personally, the first in-game purchase I ever made in any game ever was the first ever Fortnite Battle Pass that came out in December 2017. But I'm here to tell you, beware of this method, because it is sneakily getting you to put more and more hours into the game. Hours that you necessarily don't want to spend because of other responsibilities, or that you won't even enjoy spending because you're more or less being subconsciously forced into it. Companies, over years of failures and successes, are constantly learning how to exploit human psychology and make more money. We don't just see this in video games, we see this in every form of media. Battle passes are not made out of the kindness of their hearts to give fans more content. It's to make more money, it's that plain and simple. And this new invention is genius, like super genius. And this is why. Listen closely. They're monetizing the ability to be more rewarded the more you play. I say again, they are monetizing being rewarded for playing their game. Let that sink in for a second. Whether that's evil genius or just genius is up to you. Not only does it give you an incentive to play, it is also very affordable and often has a value once the Battle Pass is completed and once all the unlockables are earned that is much higher than the cost it is to purchase the Battle Pass, which seems to be about $10, give or take a few bucks on average. But the secret behind Battle Passes lies within one thing: their exclusivity. The fact that once this 2-month time period passes, there will no longer be an opportunity to acquire any of the items within the pass. This seems to be a consistent truth in every game. And because Battle Passes oftentimes have very cool content, such as COD's tracer round guns and animated reactive skins, or Fortnite's consistently well-designed skins, people who play the game enough to want to purchase the Battle Pass often desire these skins. One, because they're cool looking and visually pleasing, and two, because they will never be able to get them again. Companies take the feeling of, what if I regret not finishing this Battle Pass? Might as well do it, to their ultimate advantage. The main point is that exclusive items give players a sense of urgency, and that ultimately is why players will spend so much time grinding the Battle Pass, because if they don't finish this by a certain date, they will never have the chance to acquire these exclusive cosmetics ever again. And you'd be surprised how often gamers link their self-image with their in-game collection of skins and other knickknacks. And some of you might say, okay, come on Pete, that is stupid, that's ridiculous, I don't associate my self-image with that. Let's just rewind and think about this. How about the most notorious Battle Pass skin ever, the Black Knight? Now, I know I have it, but I'm not just saying this to flex that I have the Black Knight. It's just an example. But if you play Fortnite, you'll know what I'm talking about. Most people see a player either wearing the skin or the shield back bling, and if you're familiar with the skin, you likely will automatically assume that this player with this equipped is highly skilled at the game because of how long ago the skin came out, and also how much you had to grind the game in order to acquire it in the first place. So even if the player is subpar in skill, the amount of time needed to complete the Battle Pass and unlock the skin would typically be enough practice for someone to know their way around Fortnite and have an experience advantage over other players, but I digress. What it boils down to is the fact that Battle Passes take complete advantage of FOMO, or the fear of missing out. They may be generously priced, but you only get a maximum of a couple items the instant you purchase it. The rest of the items require time and consistency to obtain, and the more time you play, the more addicted you become, unless of course you genuinely dislike the game, like I genuinely dislike Modern Warfare 2. And they are fully aware that the normal battle pass is lame. That's why they added the Black Cell Battle Pass for $30 of real money. And that's how they use incentive. They make the normal one lame, and then they make a far cooler one that costs 3 times as much. But to get back on track, the more you play, the more addicted you become. And companies have learned to take full advantage of this psychology. Now, here's the icing on the cake. Battle passes, more often than not, include some amount of in-game currency. Most of the time, these currencies are only able to be acquired from spending actual money. V-Bucks, COD points, Apex coins, you get the idea. Some people might think this is stupid, because the companies are not only giving away cosmetics, they are also enabling players to acquire currency that is usually exclusively available to only being bought with real money, outside of the standard grind of leveling up and playing the game. However, you must notice that in almost every battle pass, if the player finishes it, it will yield just enough or a little more in-game currency to not only be equivalent to the money spent on that battle pass, but it will be just enough to purchase the next season's battle pass that is coming out. So not only have you just grinded an entire pass, the company assumes, and is probably correct in assuming, that you will see that you can afford the next battle pass from completing the previous one and say, oh, I might as well do it then. Then you realize you can just chain this together to never have to spend another penny on another battle pass. Until playing a lot makes you want to spend even more money on other cosmetics, then you realize you can't afford the next battle pass anymore, and then you spend even more money. The cycle is deadly, yet genius. Even if you only buy battle passes, you are still being psychologically manipulated into paying them a currency far more valuable than money. And that, my friends, is your time. Companies are evolving, and their methods to abuse your human psyche to their advantage is ever growing and ever developing, although I think right now it's at its worst and most notable point. This is also an important thing and an interesting thing to notice. Take a look at whatever battle pass you're grinding right now. Objectively, what are the coolest or more unique skins or items in that pass right now? If you pay attention, they're typically located at evenly spaced out points in the pass. For example, assuming this pass has 100 tiers, perhaps tiers 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100 yield the most desirable items. Think about it. If tiers 90 to 100 were stacked with the coolest things, a lot of the company's customers would likely not purchase the season pass because the items within it that are actually desirable are far too deep into the battle pass, and that warrants much more of a grind than the typical casual players want. But if a casual player sees that really cool animated skin at tier 20, that's much more achievable. Then once they've hit tier 20, tier 40 has another one, and they've already done it once, so might as well do it more. I mean, you've already bought the pass, right? It would be a waste of money not to. See what I'm getting at? It's secret genius that is right in front of everyone's face, but noticed by very few. Long story short, battle passes take advantage of your might as well mentality. My tips for being smart about this? Simply do not let these money-hungry companies outsmart you. If you're aware that battle passes are more of a method to get you addicted than just a cheap gift of a bunch of exclusive skins, you'll be much more likely to think twice about purchasing it. And I'm not saying never buy another battle pass. If you really love the game you're playing, ask yourself, if this game didn't have a battle pass, would I still put the same amount of hours into the game just because I think it's enjoyable? If the answer is yes, and you can afford it, by all means, buy the battle pass. And most importantly, you have to drop the might as well mentality. Just because you play a game and you enjoy it a lot does not mean you should buy the battle pass. I repeat, just because you play a game and enjoy it a lot does not mean you should buy the battle pass. And I'm aware I said if you enjoy the game enough, just buy the battle pass, but if you cannot commit the time to it, do not buy the battle pass even if you enjoy the game immensely. Drop the might as well mentality. You can't say, oh, I might as well just buy it because I play a lot. Really take the time to make the decision. If you invest enough time in it and the game is truly that much fun to you, then buy it. But don't buy it for the reason they want you to. It's a slippery slope, and you risk spending a lot more time than you want playing, and maybe you don't even like the game that much, and you're just rationalizing playing because you don't want to have the money you spent on the battle pass go to waste, because you might as well do it since you bought it. Pay attention to how you genuinely feel about the game. How would I personally fix battle passes? Well, if I were designing a game and somebody said, you have to include a battle pass, this is how I would do it. I would make them last indefinitely. That way, players would not have a sense of urgency to get that one skin they want in the pass before the season expires. They would instead be able to come back any time to eventually get it. It would certainly not make as much money and certainly not encourage crazy numbers of playtime, but it is much more humane and not manipulative at all, and that's what I'm a fan of. Plus, it could still encourage playtime anyways because, for example, if players finish one pass, they could buy the next pass with the currency owned from the first one, but only if they complete it and earn enough currency. This is still encouragement to play more, but at least players are not forced into playing X amount of hours before the season reaches the end. This is just what my method would be if I ever designed a game. To conclude this video, don't let these money-hungry corporations ruin gaming for you or steal your time and money without your full awareness and consent. Until next time, that's all I got, guys. Take it easy.